Hello, everyone. This is Kerwin, and welcome to another episode of Travel Talk. And today we're going to be talking about how to fly for free. Intriguing. Let's go. So, my background today is actually the upstairs of the Air France 747-100. I think this date back to the 70s, and this is their lounge. And on the left side there, you can see, I guess over my left shoulder, um, you can see the lounge chairs that they had set up upstairs. This is not the actual seats, but this is like the business class lounge that they had back then. Today, what they actually do with this part of the plane is there's actually seats there. If you've never flown upstairs, a 747-400, or excuse me, just a 747 in general, it's a very cool thing. Some airlines, like when Royal Air Maroc had their 747-300s, upstairs used to actually be uh, for economy class, which is quite interesting. And so I think some airlines may still have that, but not many airlines flying 747s these days. But today we're going to talk about how to get a free flight. What you see a lot online is people going, "Oh, I am flying business class and it's free." It's technically not free. It's almost, well, it's not even free at all, because basically what happens is you can get a free seat, and free is always in quotes, right? Because everything has have to be earned. So if you're a frequent flyer and you're loyal to a particular airline or a particular alliance, I say alliance because like American Airlines and Alaskan British Airways are part of the One World Alliance. Delta, Air France, KLM, and Virgin Atlantic are part of the SkyTeam Alliance, and United, Lufthansa, and Turkish Airlines are part of the Star Alliance. So if you fly the airlines that are in a particular alliance, you earn points on one airline. Can't earn points on multiple airlines. You pick an airline, and that's your airline of choice. Once you get to a certain level, you become silver, gold, platinum, diamond, concierge key, and 1K, and all the different levels that they have in these programs. Then what happens is when you fly, you get on what's called the upgrade list. And the upgrade list is based on how much you paid for your ticket, what time you checked in, your status level, and probably some other things in the back end. Everyone there's a hierarchy. So when you check in, you look at the list and you see where you are. Most of the systems will tell you there are X number of seats available, and you are number Y on the list. And so as they go through, then you will get a seat or not. Sometimes you can buy an expensive economy class ticket and the system will automatically upgrade you to first class based on the ticket price that you've bought. Some airlines offer that, not all airlines offer that. Other times too is you can use your points. So for every flight that you take, you earn points, and I'll get it more into the points part of it, but you earn points for the flights that you earn. You can take those points and you can pay for an upgrade. So when you're buying your ticket, it says, hey, the economy class ticket is $100. Then the airline will say, but for another $125, you can get to first class. Or for extra 10,000 miles, you can get to first class, and then you can pay that. Sometimes they'll give you certificates, and these are certificates that you can use to upgrade yourself when you are flying. And the systems are a little more sophisticated now because they will actually give you a little checkbox or something. You can check the box. and then get the upgrade. Everything depends on the airline that you're flying. But in essence, this is a free upgrade, but you've paid for it over time. So because you are a certain status and you have to pay to get to that status, be it that your corporation is paying or you're paying out of your pocket or anything like that, somebody is paying. And so, but you get the perks. And so because you get the perks, people say I'm getting a free upgrade, and in essence. So like when I fly, I'm platinum with American Airlines, and I will get upgrades based on my status. So about 48 hours, I think it's 48 hours out. I think I could possibly upgrade it if the seats are available. The airlines have some type of formula that they use to figure out, well, this is the status of the person on my flight. I have 20 seats. I've only booked 10. Yes, I can do the upgrade. So they have all kinds of formulas like that. And once you get the upgrade, you get an email that says, hey, you've been upgraded to first class. Now, they normally don't, they do that domestically. International is a different story. You normally have to use your points that you earn from flying or that you earn from buying stuff, because nowadays you can go online. If you want to buy a pair of shoes, you can get points for it. If you want to buy a phone, you can get points. If you're going to buy a computer, you can get points for it. If you're buying appliances, you can get points for it. So what you need to do, you need to look and see which program these airlines have and who their partners are. And if you're buying something, if you can buy whatever you're buying through that partnership, then you can get your points. And so in essence, it's free from the standpoint that you're not taking extra money to buy the thing. You're taking, so you had to get a stove, or you had to get a fridge, or you had to get a computer. And so because you did, you got the points for it, and now you're taking that points and using that points to buy your ticket. And so in essence, the ticket is free. Normally though, it's not completely free because you have to pay the taxes. So if you're flying within the United States, there's normally a tax of at least $5.60. That goes to the airport and governments. If you're doing international, you pay departure taxes, and the departure tax will go to usually the government of a country you're departing and the country that you are going to. Sometimes they both have taxes, but normally you'll almost always pay a departure tax. If you're leaving from the UK, the departure tax is a lot more. So what people tend to do, they'll tend to connect through the UK, because then the departure tax is less when you do the connection through the UK. So how do you earn these points? So you see all these people online like, oh my God, I have this much points. They're through credit cards primarily. So when you apply for a credit card online, at least in the US mostly, it's the same thing in other countries, but not the perks are not as much, or the amount that you get is not as much. So whereas sometimes in the US you can get 100,000 miles, 150,000 points for opening a credit card. In other countries, you may not have that. So let's say American Express has a new card coming out. It's 100,000, 150,000 points. You go and you apply for it. You're approved. You're going to have to pay a monthly, sorry, not a monthly, a yearly fee for the card. So that's maybe $6.95 if you're getting the platinum card. You're also going to have to spend sometime between $3,000 and $6,000 within 3 to 6 months so that you can get those 100,000 points. And if you don't meet that criteria, you do not get the points. If you are doing a lot of spending, then spending $6,000 in 3 months or 6 months is not a problem, because that's your living expenses. Typically, most people, you can't pay your rent with a credit card, but there are programs that allow you to pay. They allow the program to pay it for you, and then you can pay back the program, so you end up getting credit for it, and then it counts. But if you know you have some expenses coming up, if you have to pay like tuition in your taxes because you're paying it with a credit card, and you're spending the money, right? So if you know that there are things that if you have to buy another trip, If you have to buy furnishing, if you have to buy a new car, if you have to, whatever it is that you're spending on, make sure that you spend everything on the card, because if you don't do what they're spending on it, you're not going to get the points. And once you do the spending, the points kick in. And so let's say now you have 150,000 points. So now you go and you say, well, I have 150,000 points on American Express. I can either use what's called the American Express portal, and I can use that portal to book the ticket and on any airline that I want, because it's like a travel agency. And so I can pay with dollars or points or a combination thereof. Or I can take those points and I can transfer them to a partner of American Express. And like, for example, Virgin Atlantic is a partner, Delta is a partner, American Airlines is not a partner. And so I can transfer but British Airways is, I can transfer the points over to, say, Virgin Atlantic. Now, what the airlines do, such as Virgin, they'll give you a bonus. So they'll say, for every point that you transfer, I'll give you, 10% more, 20% more, 30% more, which is really cool, right? So then you get extra points for what you're transferring over. So let's say I go to Virgin Atlantic and I see that they have a flight for 50,000, and I get 50,000 plus $5.60 in taxes, because I'm going, say, from Houston to the UK. Houston's a bad example. Let's say New York to the UK, because Virgin doesn't fly to Houston. So I'd have to go through Delta or something, which you can, because they're partners. So let's say I want to fly from New York to London, and I'm going to fly in Virgin. Let's say it costs $50,000 for the business class fare plus the taxes, which is like, let's say it's 20 bucks. I think it's 560, but for argument's sake. So I go, well, I don't have $50,000 in my Virgin Atlantic account. However, though, I do have 150,000 points in my American Airlines, my American Express account. So I go over to American Express and I quickly transfer it to the Virgin account. Depending on the partner, it may take 24 hours, maybe immediate. And so now I go over to my Virgin account, voila, the points are now there. I can now book my ticket on Virgin Atlantic in business class using the points that I just took out of my American Express account. It's called membership rewards. And and now I can pay for my ticket, and I'm going to London, and I pay the price of the ticket, 50,000 points, plus I think it's $5.60 in taxes, and I'm off to London. For my return, let's say I want to return on British Airways. So now what I have to do is I still have I have 100,000 points left. So I get over to British Airways and they're like, ooh, it's 75,000 to go in British Airways first class. And so I go over to my account in American Express and I go, ooh, I can move 75,000 over. I move it over to my British Airways account. Then I go in on BritishAirways.com, and of course, I have to be a member of their program, their frequent flyer program, which is called Executive Club. And then I go in, I sign in, I use my points, and I book the ticket. Now, coming out of the UK, you're going to be hit with a lot of taxes, because there is a lot of taxes coming out of the UK. The US government taxes you, the British government taxes you, and the tax there is ridiculous. You may be paying like $300-400 just to depart from the UK itself. So some people do, they get a cheap ticket and they go to like Ireland or I don't know, Amsterdam or something. And then they fly from Amsterdam to the US via London. And so it's a connecting charge, and the charge is much less, usually much less than all you pay to fly over an EasyJet or somebody to get to you, so you can make the connection. So there are lots of different ways that people go around it. So that gives an idea when somebody says, ooh, I'm flying business class for free. Not really. If you look at it, they had to have spent something to get those points, which is the They call it the spend that you have to spend in order to get the points. Or you have to earn the points some way. In order to earn the points, you must have bought something online or taken another flight or something like that. But you had to put some form of money into, I don't think there's any way that you can get a completely free flight, which means you took $0 out of your pocket at any point through the transaction in order to get that free flight. And I'm just trying to think if I'm speaking something that makes no sense, but I can't think of any way. And if I'm wrong, please somebody tell me of a way that I can get on a plane without using points without spending $0 to get those points. You know, I mean, you can, if you think of it as your work, then yes, the money wouldn't come out of your pocket because you're working, but you're still spending something because you're working, right? But I guess there's no dollars out of your pocket because your company is giving you the points that you're earning while you're working for the company. You're not paying for them. So I guess then you can say it's free, except you still have to pay the taxes. I hope this helps. It tells you how you can get how you can get a flight for free in essence and fly business class for free. The thing that you want to do is that you want to use your points where it makes sense. So you wouldn't really fly like a domestic flight if the domestic flight is like $50 and the points you're using is like 5, 10,000, just pay the $50 because you're gonna get points for the $50 anyway that you're spending, and you're wasting 5,000 or 10,000 points. Use that to get something more substantial. Or if you have no money, then it makes sense. If you have no money at points, then by all means go use the points, right? It makes sense. But you want to, like, American has some deals now at like 5,000. You can spend 5,000 points in 5,000 miles to fly, and it's actually quite good in some instances. But again, you take a look at it, see how much the ticket is. You have to buy the ticket and see how much it is for the points. And if you think that the value you're getting for the points is not worth it, then just pay the cash. And also when you buy a ticket, you need to make sure you don't buy the cheapest ticket, because when you buy the cheapest ticket, you get the least amount of miles for it. And if you want to get miles, then you don't want to get the cheap. You want to buy a ticket that will give you the most miles in any case. So for example, if you buy a basic economy ticket, you may get 10 points, just for argument's sake. But if you buy the next fare up, you may get what is that, 10, 20 points instead, or 15 points instead. So it just depends on what your goals are. So I hope this helps, and hopefully if you get enough points, I may see you in a business class fare at some point. This is Curran with Travel Talk. Have a great trip. Talk to you soon.